Oh, I still feel like she did have the son that was a giant. Don't further away, it's worse.
I'm just sitting up straight.
Anyway, right.
Well, give me another cushion.
Oh, she's a diva. Well, that's not Oh, have them all, Louise, have them all.
Oh, well.
Right. That's 35 seconds of my life I'm never getting back. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon of Savage Reads and today I am back with my mum for our festive reading horizons. I say festive, there's not actually that many festive books in here, but the books that we are currently reading, no, it's the books that we have read, we're currently reading and we're going to read next. Yes. You know me mum, she's been on here a few times.
I'm shrinking apparently.
You are a little bit. She's had a son that was a giant. So, Mum, you go first. What is the... Unless there's anything you want to say to the lovely viewers.
That's fine. Well, happy Christmas. But it's a bit late because it won't be by the time you see this. But
no.
We have just had a lovely family Christmas. And we were all just sort of nodding off downstairs. And then Simon decided to drag me up here to do this, which is fine.
Simon said, time to earn your keep. Come on. Right, so, Mum, what is the last book you read?
So, the last book I read was... Shall I show it now?
It's there, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't cover your face with it though, Louise.
Oh, sorry. It was Festive Spirits.
Yep.
By Kate Atkinson.
3 short stories.
Yes, and I read it to get myself into a festive mood, festive frame of mind.
Did you find it that festive? I didn't.
Didn't find it festive. I didn't find it jolly.
No.
But the middle...
Not that that's what I expect from Kate Atkinson necessarily.
But I'm glad I read it, and I always find this with short story collections. It's very, very rare that I read a collection of short stories and like many of them. Oh. Even by writers like Margaret Atwood, who I love. I'll read a collection of.
And you do love
stories.
Kate Atkinson. We both do. We absolutely love Kate Atkinson as a writer. Mum loves Big Sky so much she dropped it in the bath because she couldn't stop reading it.
It did. It's just about dried out. But this one. So where was I? Yeah, so usually I will only find maybe one story that I'm really blown away by. And in this one, it was the middle story.
Yes, that was my favourite.
But it was quite wicked,
yeah,
but in a wonderful way.
There's a wicked twist.
Yeah.
We won't give anything away, but it's worth it for the collection alone, I think, that story.
Yes, it was.
And she's so astute about people and how people interact and I think she does... What's good about it, or what I liked about it, because I was a bit like that about it, but because it's her, I wanted to read it anyway.
Yeah.
But I do like the way that she really can. She must watch people so much because she really gets little nuances between people. And
yeah, she does. Good. Yeah, no. Yeah, so you know, mixed feelings, but I really did enjoy the middle story. But that would be true of most short story anthologies that I read. So.
Unless it's Caris Davis.
Unless it's Caris Davis or Emma Donoghue.
Yeah, I've not read any of her short stories.
She's really good.
So the last book that I read, which is a slight cheat because I have read one since, but we'll talk about why I'm not talking about that shortly. Oh, the teaser. But this is Lara by Bernardine Evaristo, and it is her debut novel. And having read Girl, Woman, Other this year and loving it, and having already loved Mr. Loverman, but I read that quite a few years ago, this made me want to go back to... Sorry, Girl, Woman, Other made me want to go back. So I thought, go back to the beginning. And this actually has some real... common moments with Girl, Woman, Other. It's about a young woman called Lara who's brought up in the 60s and 70s. Her father is from Nigeria and her mother is British. And what happens then is you go back in time through her father's family and her mother's family. So you actually get all of her past from all the different cultures, because her father's father was actually from Brazil and a slave in Brazil who moved to Nigeria and then hoped that was the land of the free, and it wasn't, so they then moved over to it. It's really, really brilliantly done. And then also you have Lara's story going forward as well. It's semi-autobiographical, but it's told in basically like verse, very much like Girl, Woman, Other was. But I don't know how she does it. She creates this massive family patchwork that you as the reader have to put together because it's not always chronological. But it's just phenomenally done, and she deals with racism, she deals with gender, and also her mother, Lara's mother, she has German descendants and she has Irish descendants, so you actually get all of, it's almost like it goes around the world. It's just amazing. She's such a phenomenal writer. So yeah, I'd really, 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 really recommend that. What are you reading? mother.
Well, Simon, you can see where my bookmark is in this one. So I'm reading On Beauty by Zadie Smith, and I'm reading it partly because Simon and I are reading all the previous Women's Prize winners.
Which, we have to say, we were going to film all of our thoughts on all the first 12, but both of us have been a little bit naughty.
Bit behind.
And haven't finished reading them. You've got one more to go after that, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I've got 2 more to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway. So, Zadie Smith on Beauty.
Yeah, so...
Don't say too much, because we'll talk about it in due course.
I'm not going to say too much.
You did say you wanted to talk about it.
Because you would have noticed that he pulled a face when it was mentioned, and I know that he doesn't like this book.
No, it's not that. Zadie Smith is an author I just have never got. I've never got her, and I feel slightly frustrated I haven't, because everybody else loves her.
Well, that shouldn't frustrate you.
Well, it does.
Reading is eclectic and individual. Your response to books.
I just want to be part of the gang.
Well, anyway, so I'm not going to say what I think of this, because...
Can you not even give people a teaser?
No, because...
If I do that...
No, because
I'll edit this.
You'll see it.
No, I won't. I promise I won't edit this one. I'll just top and tail it.
Oh,
I promise you. I promise you.
Anyway, so...
Apart from the bloopers at the beginning.
Yeah, I don't want him to know what I think of it, because I want to have a really good discussion when we talk about it.
It's a long time since I read it. That's the only thing.
So what do I say about it? It's sort of a campus novel.
You know, it's a rewriting of another story.
I didn't know that.
Howard's End.
I did not know that.
I think it's Howard's End.
Oh, okay. Oh, well.
I'll double check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Isn't one of the characters called Howard?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about rewriting of Howard's End. Well, that's a revelazione.
It is a revelation. And I'm going to think about it really differently now.
Oh.
Well, not differently, but it's just informed my response to the story.
Can I also just add, I think I read this at the wrong time in my life, because I was only quite fresh back into reading.
Right.
And maybe that's why it didn't click.
Yeah, maybe.
Sorry.
But
I don't know what
really
she thinks of it. That's me
Teeth
defending it. I haven't read that.
Oh, I thought you
No, I haven't read it.
Yeah,
I
think it's a great book.
NW?
Yeah. I particularly like the way she writes about London, although this isn't set in London. It's set in London and Boston. Boston? I want to say Boston. I think it's Boston. Poor brain.
It's in New England. It's somewhere in New England.
Yeah, it is. I think it is Boston. Yeah, so in a way it's a family saga. It's about there's an argument between Howard and another academic, and coincidentally they end up, one's in London, one's in Boston, but their stories start to interweave, and they get more and more tangled up in each other. And there are lots and lots of scenes of family, domestic life as well. So it's academia, but it's also a domestic story too. Because I'm not a big fan of campus novels.
I don't like a campus novel. Maybe that's another reason that I didn't like it so much. But I'm wondering actually if, before we talk about them, I could, because it has been probably 10, 11, 12 years since I've read that, that maybe I'll listen to it on audiobook.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And see if I like it again more.
That's a good idea. So yeah, I don't want to tell you how I'm getting along with it.
She's not telling me. She won't tell me. She won't be told.
But it has certainly kept my attention. And,
that's so a giveaway how you feel about it.
Is it?
Oh, unless you love hating it.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say any more then.
I was trying. I was
trying
to get as good as way. Well, I'm going to now not be able to say very much about this one because
no, you're not.
It's Larry's part. Well, I can say what I've already told you while you've been here, can't I? Yeah. Because so this is Larry's Party by Carol Shields, and I have to admit I was dreading reading this because it's about the life of a man over, I think is it 20 or 40 years? It must be 40 years because I'm only about 10 chapters in. I'm listening to an audiobook and it's been making me cackle because I was really like, ugh, poor man having to deal with the post-feminist world, and then thinking, how's that woman won the Women's Prize? But without giving any spoilers about it, she's very clever with how she handles female characters in this, even though we only hear from Larry. But I was saying to Mum, every chapter starts with Larry's something in a different year. And when Mum had arrived, I'd just been listening on audio to the chapter called Larry's Penis, 1982.
Look forward to
So
reading
you've got
about that then.
got that to look forward to. All about Lara's Ding Dong. I've not heard the word Ding Dong quite so many times in my life. Yeah, I'll talk about this more in a wrap up, which Mum won't be allowed to watch, although she might. But also when I've actually finished it and when we do our videos, which we're going to film in the middle of January. So they'll start going live at the end of January, end of February, end of March, and then we'll film our other ones in March for the final 12.
Cool.
Before we start doing the long list in 2020.
I know, that's exciting.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Very exciting.
And the other one that I'm reading, but I'm not very far in, so I can't say too much about it. It's Pages & Co by lovely Anna James. This is the first in the Tilly and the Book Wanderers series. And basically Tilly lives in her above her grandparents' bookshop, and she starts to be able to fall into books. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say for now, because it's only just briefly happened. So yeah, but I know this is appealing to all those bits of my childhood nostalgia and all the books that I would love. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to carry on with that one.
I really love the idea.
What are you planning on reading next, Mum?
Okay, so I might be going on holiday tomorrow.
She's going on holiday
I'm
tomorrow.
going on
Well,
holiday tomorrow.
oh no, we'll be going. This is going live today.
Yeah,
This
tomorrow.
is going live on Boxing Day, so the day after she's off on holiday.
I am. And so I have packed, well, I've just unpacked this from my suitcase.
Here we go. It's such a hardship to do a video.
I know,
She hates
it's
it.
really hard.
You haven't seen I've got a cattle prod behind this sofa.
Just to keep me awake.
No, just get you to do it. Come on, Louise, come on.
As you can see, I'm really hating every moment of this. So this is Himself by Jess Kidd. I know Simon really raved about it, but I loved The Hoarder. Really loved The Hoarder. Thought it was a very unusual book, and she what really
Have you read
impressed.
Things in Jars yet?
No.
Oh.
What really impressed me about The Hoarder was that there's a sort of supernatural thing going on, and I'm not really that interested in that normally when I'm reading, but I found it really worked in that book, and I thought, you know, that was real testament to it.
Yeah, no, I think she's amazing things.
And I loved, what's he called, the old man in it? I've forgotten his name.
Cathal?
Yes, that's right. It's Irish
Cathal,
name, isn't it? Yeah, and I just loved his character.
Cathal.
Cathal?
Yeah.
Cathal.
Sorry, Jess, if you see this.
Yeah, I loved his character and loved the descriptions of the house
Her
and the
writing.
surroundings, and it's just completely stayed in my head.
And what
Months
does it?
ago I read it.
She tells they're all of her books are a little bit like there's a mystery at the heart of them. But what she does is she fills them with these brilliant characters that almost could be caricatures, but they're not quite. So you laugh along at them and with them, but actually you really take them to your heart.
Oh,
think
yeah, I
she
feel
does-
like I know them.
Yeah, and yet they are quite extreme.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that she can mix in humour with a very serious story, and then also throw in something completely supernatural and bonkers.
But also you've got, you know, in that book, the relationships are surprising, aren't they?
Yeah.
You've got two people who ordinarily wouldn't.
I'm jealous
Wouldn't be in the
because
same
I would
room.
love to go through read. There's certain books that you read and wish you had that first
Yeah,
experience
yeah,
again.
yeah.
So I'm actually quite jealous that you've got that ahead, because it is. I just think, and it's really, I feel bad because when I first got sent Himself in Prove, I was like, I don't think this sounds like my kind of book at all. And then 4 years later, I'm like, she's my favourite author at the moment. I just love her. I think she's great. She's got a kids' book coming out next year as well, which I'm very excited about. Speaking of supernatural, where you don't expect it, my next read, because I'm in the mood for something I want something that's a real thriller. Also, I want to read a couple of books before the end of the year that I meant to read this year. And Louise Doty's Platform 7 is one that I've been really, really, really keen to read. And I haven't. It's a thriller, and it's set in Peterborough Station, where 2 deaths have happened within the space of, well, not a long space of time. And I think we start just as, is it Peter? And it just says the man. But it's somebody who's basically, I think, considering throwing themselves in front of the tracks. And Lisa is watching him, but Lisa was the one who died before. Ooh. So I think it's a thriller with a supernatural edge, but also I love the fact it's just set at Peterborough train station. So I'm going to read this very, very soon. Have you got a copy of this?
Yes.
You have.
Thank you.
Mum's a big fan of Louise Doty too.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm really looking forward to getting to that one. So that is our reading horizons.
It is.
Do let us know in the comments down below what you have read, are reading, and are going to read next. Let us know which of the Women's Prize books you've managed to read so far. Don't let us know what you thought of them yet, but which ones you read. And we will be back actually in a video which we're about to film, but won't go live until next week, massive, massive clanger of a teaser because Mum's going to be talking about her 5 favourite books of 2019.
Wow.
So that'll be out next week, and then we will be back in January to talk about our thoughts on the Women's Prize winners in chronological order.
We will.
So I'll speak to you then. Bye.
Bye.